Hi, Gil from Testing Gil here. We talk about unit testing, but really in our modern development there are two types of smaller and faster tests. There are the unit tests and there are component tests. They are different and they check different things. So when we're using AI for helping with them, we need how to treat each type. So today we're breaking down the differences between the two types and how AI can help with both of them. First, let's talk about a unit test. A unit test checks a small piece of logic. It could be a function, a method, or a class. It checks it in complete isolation and runs very quickly. And unlike the component test, there's no UI involved. Think of a simple calculation function. This one calculates a factorial. We can write a small unit test that calls the function and expects the result that we want to see. So that's a classic unit test. A component test, on the other hand, is for your UI. It takes a single component, like React, Vue, or Angular, and renders it in a virtual browser-like environment. It doesn't use a real browser to do that. It helps you test props and user events like clicks. But more specifically, we should use it to test user interaction and experience. Let's take a look at an example. Now, this is our user component. It contains two elements, a button and a text box. We want to check two scenarios. The first one is that the button is disabled when the text box is empty, and the second one is the button is enabled when the text box has some characters in it. Here's the prompt. Excellent. Let's look at the test that it generated for us. The test renders the component. It then finds the elements of the button and the text box, and finally operates it to check about the real operations, behaviors, and the experience of the user. The cool thing is that the tests are testing the component from the user's perspective. These are not the only kinds of component tests we can write or generate. I can also ask AI to generate from me accessibility tests, for example, using the Xcore library. It can then create a test like this. The Xcore library can find accessibility violations, like fonts that are too small or contrast issues. And it can find them in our component tests way before we get to system testing. So let's sum up. Unit tests are for small pieces of logic. They are fast and they are isolated, and they don't touch the UI. When you're using AI to generate unit tests, focus on the logic, on the edge cases, and mocking external dependencies. Component tests are a variation of unit tests that are for UI components. They're about what the user sees and does. When you use AI to generate component tests, concentrate on the elements and the user behavior and experience. It could be that our tests, both the component and the unit tests, use the same framework. In our case, it was vtest. But the tests that we write or generate with our AI check different things. We need both kinds of tests for quality in our application, to create tests that check what we want and we can trust. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, like, subscribe, share it, and watch other videos on this channel. And in the comments below, tell me, do you write component tests or generate them? What do you check for exactly? Until next time, bye-bye.